touching on the mythology, some more mythology, this time on Virgo mythology. Got me thinking. I did some more research because I was like, where did I get that from? That Mercury, that Virgo was co-ruled by Mercury and Venus. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so I wanted to gather the mythology and information on Virgo. So I did my research, and I will be linking the. I'll be posting my sources below, a few of them that really stood out to me as far as the mythology goes, and the background, the backstory on Virgo and the energy, the vibe. So we have Virgo, who, let's start with Virgo's connection to Libra, shall we? So basically in Greek mythology, Astrea, who is represented by Virgo, held the scales, which is Libra, of justice in her hand. Now Astrea represents purity, innocence, precision, right? There goes that mercurial influence, justice as well. So it's not just Libra that represents justice and balance. It's also Virgo that kind of I would say handles more like the detail-oriented part of the balance. They definitely have a strong tie. Virgo has a strong tie with beauty as well. And I would say that, like for me, when I'm looking at Virgo's personality, I really do see Mercury, but I also see that influence of beauty. Because let's not forget, in beauty, we're always looking for what? Symmetry. Symmetry. We're always looking for symmetry in nature. So I feel like that's really the connection with Astrea holding the scales of justice. Like that balance that Libra wants in beauty is kind of, Virgo is really going for that. So that's kind of like that beauty right there, that Venusian connection. And again, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, but they have a strong tie. Virgo has a strong tie with beauty and Libra, in form of the, like, again, justice and the scales. Now, the story. Now, there's been different representation with Virgo throughout mythology, in different myths, represented by different figures, but always the same theme of representing agriculture, mother of the earth, representing motherhood in general, also known as a fertility goddess as well. So Virgo is definitely represented by different goddesses, from Ishtar in Babylonian mythology to Isis in Egyptian mythology to Ceres in Roman mythology. Now, Virgo, the word Virgo itself, although people try to connect it to the word virgin, it doesn't stem from that. I think the virgin side comes from, again, Astrea, which represents Virgo, representing purity and innocence. So there is that tie to virginal, I would say innocence, but not virgin, because obviously a mother is not a virgin, and Virgo is more so tied to motherhood and fertility. I definitely see that. Now, Virgo is Latin for self-contained, and otherwise self-sufficient, as we would call it. So again, we see that nature of Virgos not needing no damn body, being able to do things on their own, being able to like take or leave a relationship. It comes from that part of, it really points to that part of mythology. Now in Greek mythology, in Greek mythology, Virgo was also represented by Demeter, which was goddess of the earth. Now I also read that Virgo was represented by Persephone, who is Demeter's daughter. So we're gonna go with that because that ties in with the little story that I read on Virgo's mythology. Now Virgo has a strong connection with Pluto as well. Again, like that cold, calculated, detached nature that they can be known to have, is definitely tied to, I think, the backdrop in the story of Persephone and Hades. See, what had happened was Persephone's chilling, hanging out with her friends. Mind you, just to rewind, her and her mother are responsible. Persephone is the goddess of spring. Okay, everywhere she goes, flowers bloom and blossom. and her mother together are responsible for agriculture, basically sowing the seeds of the earth, planting fruits and plants and vegetables. Her mother is like, you know, the main one, and then the daughter helps basically. So Persephone's hanging out with her friends one day in the flower fields, you know, just kicking it, being girly girls, being very Venusian, picking flowers, you know, and chilling. And she spots like this baddie of a flower. It's beautiful, it's sparkly, it's like the most beautiful thing she's ever seen, right? So she's like, oh, in her head she's thinking like, oh, I'm about to go get that flower, right? So she goes off without telling her friends, mind you. I'm like, girl, Persephone, have you ever seen the scary movies? Every time somebody just goes off on their own from the group, it's never a good ending. So she goes off to get this flower, and all of a sudden the earth cracks beneath her, and a black chariot comes out with two black horses come out pulling a chariot with Hades on it, and he basically drags her to the pits of hell. Now, from what I read, Demeter heard Persephone screams, and she ran off to go find her daughter. And in the meantime, the agriculture was basically going to crap. Humans on the earth are dying. Zeus spotted this, and he's like, oh, this is not good. We got to do something about this. So he ends up commanding that Hades bring Persephone back. And he does, but not before cursing her. I think he gave her something to eat that basically made it to where she had to go back to the underworld. Now, on another site, I read that I actually read that Persephone's mother, Hades allowed 6 months out of the year for Persephone and her to help her mother with the crops and the agriculture. So we have that number 6 that's definitely standing out, with Virgo being the 6th number, and 6 is also a number of love and relationships and soulmate ties, and it's definitely love and relationships, and it's also connected to Venus. So again, Virgo does have some correlations with Venus, although not being ruled by Venus. That's what I have for Virgo mythology. Thank you for tuning in with me. Stay tuned for the sun sign series up next. Bye.